it's finally here. My new copy of Stonehouse's newest book titled Stonehouse Art Collection. We all know Stonehouse for his big, bulky Bible of an anatomy book he came out with years ago. That what seemed like it was the anatomy book to crush all anatomy books. But he has now released another bulky boy containing many of his various works throughout the years. Now, before I get in deeper with this book, I have to say the book itself wasn't that expensive. I believe I paid around the mid $40 range for it, and in case you're wondering, this book does have over 600 pages in it. So right there, I think that's worth that, $40 price range. Now, what got me was the shipping, as I paid around $22 to $23 just on shipping. Now, the reason why I bring that up, because that most likely won't be the case again in the future, as due to current events in the world right now, with everyone trying to blow each other up, I had to pay a little extra for the shipping, which, honestly sucks, but I ordered the book straight out of Korea. And I live in the States, but despite all that, it didn't take long for the book to reach me. I would say roughly a week or two is how long I had to wait before receiving it, and it does come with this nice glossy shiny vinyl sheet over it to help protect the book, which I appreciate. But let's get into the book. So as you already heard me say this is another big boy containing many of Stonehouse's works, which you have yet to see on the internet. If you follow his work closely, you'll see some copy and paste images that you have already seen on his social media, but that's not what sold me to the book. One of the main reasons why I picked up the book was because it contained many of Stonehouse's earliest works. Like, for an example, his first ever major work was for a game magazine where he was tasked for doing the cover illustrations for a tabletop role-playing game called King's Festival. Do keep in mind, this is in 1996, and he is only 20 years old at this point. I know, crazy, right? Now, he would go on to make these short comics for these tabletop role-playing games. I really enjoyed this color comic book page in the book, as it gives kind of this old school Berserk vibes from that time. I'm seeing a little influence of what seems to be Kentaro Miura here, which there is really no surprise there. Berserk was really starting to pick up at this time, especially in the dark fantasy scene. Around age 22 though, Stonehouse would go on to develop his own comic that he titled Phantom, and he would end up doing a lot of world building for this project, and he shares a lot of it in this book. It's crazy to know just how skilled he was at a relatively young age. I mean, age 22 and he's already at a serious professional level. I am very impressed with his skills at this age, but if I'm not wrong, he would go on to shelve this project. But to be fair, I believe it was something he would come back to and slowly pick at for years to come. So who knows, we might get a Ghost in the Shell, cyberpunk-like comic from Stonehouse in the future. That would be pretty cool. I mean, I would buy a copy for sure. Now, while there are some English translations in the book, there's also quite a lot of stuff that isn't translated. Like, for an example, towards the end of the book, there's an interview section, but the entire thing is in Korean. Like, none of it is English translated. I don't know what was the main reason behind translating only parts of the book just to only leave entire sections untranslated. So now it's a little extra work on my end to try and translate the entire interview. But what's nice is during the interview section, we see a group picture of what looks to be a young Stonehouse and Master Kim Jung-gi together, which is just wholesome. But do keep in mind, the book is not entirely translated, which isn't too big of an issue because, we're mostly here for the art, but there's also a lot of text in the book at times, and, I would like to know what Stonehouse is trying to say. But other than that, I mean, the book is great. Stonehouse even goes on to include some of his studies and lessons he's taught in the past before when doing various courses, or teaching students that I think, that we could benefit a lot from. In case you're wondering, there isn't a lot of nudity in the book. Don't get me wrong, there's some saucy stuff in there, but it's a very small fraction of what the book has to offer. But I think in terms of lessons and study material in there, there's quite a lot of that, which I appreciate. But altogether, I paid around the $60 to $70 range for everything, but mostly due to the shipping, which should go back to normal soon if the world gets better. Because the book is like, $40 to $50, it's the shipping that really gets you. So, is the book worth it? For the price? Yeah. Now, if the book was around that $100 range, I would probably ask, well, how big of a Stonehouse fan are you? But for me, $45, I was surprised and had to, instantly get it considering its page count. While I do appreciate Stonehouse's highly rendered stuff, I really enjoy more of his scribble stuff more. But altogether, I really enjoyed this book in my collection, and I think it looks nice next to my Stonehouse anatomy book. Now, before you go, I just want to mention I do have an art Discord of artists of various skill levels. We accept artists of all calibers and have tons of resources to help improve your art. That's also the best way to get a hold of me. If you have any questions, I will leave an invite link in the comment section of this video. With that said, stay safe and most importantly, never stop drawing. Alright, bye bye.